Yeah, Robin, the Hooded Man. Clannad is beautiful, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
but, just listening to, I think last week somebody mentioned to me that Enya has been voted the most relaxing voice of all tracks. Or
I
all
can
music
understand
to listen
that.
to.
Yes.
Enya has reached whatever pitch or whatever it is that she does. Apparently, scientifically, it has been proven that she has.
I think there's very little scientific about Enya.
Yes, well,
I'm in awe of the wonderment of the sound. Yeah. It is quite wonderfly special, I tell you.
And
it
Clannad
is gorgeous.
Would be in there as well. So.
Clannad is in there. You were telling me Clannad was discovered. No, Clannad is there as well. That's yes. right. It was the Enya's that. But you're into it. You love chilling and peace and love and
taking
stuff like
it all
that.
Nice and easy, yes.
Yeah.
Just handed you there my bracelet.
Isn't it lovely? Peace and love from a little girl.
6-year-old.
Madison Houlihan.
Yes.
Give you that.
Gave me those
and she twigged that this is the kind of thing you speak about. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And so she wanted you to have
what better
this.
qualities for 6-year-olds to have in their life?
Do you ever get fed up with peace and love nonsense? And everybody, hey, peace and love, peace and love. And then they go out and they murder each other and they're fighting each other to
no, I think even
get
if
the
we can have a
bargains in the
moment
shops.
Peace, if we can have a moment peace in a busy day, then
What's your best part of the day for having peace?
My best part? I like before I get up in the morning. I'm a big believer in allowing yourself time in the morning. So
you don't lie in bed when you wake, and it's just not the case of when you wake up, get up.
No, I don't. But I don't think a wake up, get up. I think it's too much of a shock to the system. Wake up and gradually.
No, but you just. What I'm saying is, you just gently. You waken, your eyes. Welcome to the new day, and you get out of bed, and then you shake down your duvet and you stretch it on the bed, and you take that kind of Buddhistic moment of putting the duvet back and letting it be there, and then your day has begun. But this business of lying there is not good.
Well, I suppose it depends what you're doing in that,
what you're thinking.
That moment, where your head is and what you're preparing for the day. But I personally, I think it's one of those things, everybody's different. I have a sister who get up and just go. And
you see, I find, and I suppose it's all part of the same philosophy that we're trying to be aware of, I find that when I'm in bed, lying there, and allowing my thoughts to float, I can float into a bad place. It's not nice. You want to be, because when I'm up, I'm able to take on the world. But when I'm lying, I'm not. You see, this is the whole thing.
And I suppose, as I said, I think it's a personal thing. Everybody has their own way of going about it. But,
how is Try the Alternative going? Your lovely business.
Yes, all going good. This week is World Reflexology Week, so doing quite a bit to raise awareness around reflexology. In fact, I'm going off to show some mummies this morning how to do reflexology for their babies.
Ah, that's lovely.
So
that's lovely,
nice. It's a lovely bond, and it's a lovely time to bond, and helps with different things, colic and reflux, and just.
You see, that's where I lose it a wee bit. I can't make the connection between the balls of my feet and colic and whatever. And I think the best, for me anyway, the best that I can say about reflexology is that it's chilling. It's nice.
Well,
and if it's nothing else,
it's that.
Isn't it great?
Well, that's the way I would look at it as well. We can take the theory bit, which obviously haven't studied it and looked into it and seen it work. We can go with that. But equally as well, if people just take that it's a nice thing to do, and when the body is relaxed and it's chilled, then things like reflux and things like colic and maybe stomach problems are much less likely anyway. So,
is it your experience in pursuing the alternative that we, in general, kind of hammer our bodies and our minds, and that we never give them a moment's peace?
We don't give them. I think, for me, one of the things that interested me initially with reflexology, or why I could see that it worked, was that if you look at how we were designed to walk on uneven surfaces, with no shoes, and that all of those points to be stimulated were to bring balance into the body and to help the body. But I think, yes, we're constantly expecting, we just take our bodies so much for granted until they give up. Or something's wrong. We don't really realise that we have an arm or a leg until there's something wrong with it.
I know. I was looking at the excavations inside the walls of Derry, and medieval skeletons there lying looking up at me from the ground. And it brought to me the feeling, Rowan, this is what it's about. This is your heaven, this is your hell. This is it. You're in the soil, you're incarcerated.
Yeah, it's how for me, it's how the quality of life that we have when we're here. I mean, I've no doubt that we're all going to live a lot longer through advances in medical science, but whether we're going to live a lot better remains to be seen.
Two people stopped me, men of my age, on the street within the last week and said, Rowan, that thing you were talking about, the PSA blood test, we went and we got it checked. And I said, everything okay? No, it's not okay. So here two people, that's a big percentage.
Big number, yeah.
And then a third one outside the Ulster Bank yesterday, exactly the same story. Rowan, we went and got it checked. You're okay? No, it's not okay. We've got a problem. So the PSA blood test in your life's journey to make sure your prostate is okay.
And any of those checks, I think are all worth having done. I mean, whether it's a cervical smear for women or mammograms and things that just can give us a wee bit of an awareness to say, well, it's worth getting these checks. Even the one thing that I often find confusing about the medical side of things is that, we're highly recommended to attend a dentist every 6 months.
Oh,
for
yes,
teeth check.
yes,
And yet it would make sense to me that we would have the same approach with the doctor, that every 6 months, or with a medical professional, a nurse or whatever, things like blood pressure, blood sugar levels, cholesterol, weight, just general, they don't have to be very in-depth tests or anything like that, but just a general check, as though in the same way as you would go to the dentist.
Yeah, but the doctors aren't saying that to you.
And it
Come to
often
us.
confused me.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Let's wait until we're sick and then go, and I think of prevention's better than
And the
cure.
danger about going down into that health centre is that it's not a health centre.
It's a sickness centre.
It's a sickness centre.
Exactly,
and you're going to catch something.
You're going to,
So I don't know.
be in there,
And I just think there is a propensity in people to be extraordinarily sorry for themselves and to say, I'm sick, not going to work today. Get a life, there's going to be a whole eternity that you'll be the skeleton in the ground. And enjoy it where we are now.
Yes.
How's the wee kids? We were talking about the kids thing. How's it going?
Yeah, they go great. They enjoy it. I'm hoping to speak to some schools over the next few weeks and integrate some relaxation into schools, both for teachers and parents and children as well. So I think as important that the children are relaxed and they're getting time out and they're learning to be still, because life is generally so busy for them.
And know that the force is with you, whatever the force is.
Whatever the force.
I don't like the use of the word force in a good sense, an energizing sense.
An energizing life force.
A life force. Let the life force be in you. That would be good.
And feel that and have time out. But I also think that in general, if we look at parents and teachers, they have such a stressful job of looking after all of these kids and their own lives and stuff as well. But I think if we're all more relaxed around children, then they just feed off.
See,
so
I hear what you're saying, but I don't automatically accept that they have such a stressful job. They make it a stressful job.
Possibly that. Yes.
I invariably find if I time at children, I got a cage up in the pet place, and if you put them in the cage and threw them bananas, it was very straightforward thereafter. Honestly, children, I'm only joking. I never did that to you. I promise you. I promise you.
No, but I think it's a time. Lives are busier, and if we all can step back and relax a little bit, then.
How happy, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you at this moment? Now, be honest with me. Don't look anywhere else.
I'm just back from my retreat last weekend, so I'm feeling very chilled, very happy, and we'll go for a 9.5.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Now, your retreat, don't go away. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I was off.
You were going to smooch off there and not tell me about it.
About my Buddhist retreat.
Where was it?
It was in Mallinbeg.
Where is Mallinbeg?
Donegal.
Donegal.
Past Killybegs.
Were you looking out on the ocean?
Yes.
Wow.
Other than doing anything else, it was
there is another place down at the Beara Peninsula, which is exactly the same. The Buddhist monastery is on the cliffs looking out over the ocean in the Beara Straits.
Yeah, well, This actually wasn't, we didn't stay in a monastery, it was a youth hostel that we stayed in. It was a Buddhist centre from Belfast that had organised it as a weekend, as a night weekend retreat. So
was it a lovely, gentle, or were you mingling with snotty, sneezing, flatulating
no, it was
youngsters?
Wonderful, it was lovely.
What made it lovely?
I think, just for one, taking time out and just the way there was no mobile phone service, it was impossible to get it. So I think on the first evening, when everybody accepted that they weren't going to find signal, no matter how much they stretched or how much they tried to stand on the highest point or hang out windows or do it, and then everybody accepted it, and it was a lovely weekend with just nice people.
And what was the structure of the weekend?
We arrived for food which was all ready and prepared for us.
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Yeah.
On
which is refreshing
Friday.
In itself.
Yes, it's lovely. I mean, we spoke about this before. I'm not particularly anti-meat. I'm anti-processed food.
Yeah,
products,
of course.
But if
stop kicking the table.
Going to kick the table and
she's kicking the table.
Anti-overly processed food, but I do think it doesn't do us any harm to give our systems a little bit of a break and take.
So you were greeted with the vegetarian dinner.
We then introduced ourselves to the rest of the group and had a bit of a chat, and we'd done that over dinner, and very tasty dessert and that it made as well.
Wow.
And then we started, Callan, the Buddhist nun, she led a guided meditation then.
What a lovely name, Callan.
Yeah. And we then moved.
How did you meditate?
So it was a guided meditation.
Yeah.
So,
and how did you do that? You guide me in the meditation now. What do I do?
Meditation. Well,
I'm listening.
We'll do a guided meditation.
Sure.
But just
it
was a breath one, so it was just bringing us all into the space. So it was just becoming aware of our breath and our breathing, noticing the space we were in, noticing how our body was feeling, and our sessions through. Still breathing through, but our sessions.
Is it all right to moan or to groan when you
whatever
chant?
Whatever energy people.
I find that a very natural thing to kind of moan
to
and
let I think the Om one is a very Om. That's the universal life force word.
Om.
And it does resonate.
It's resonance. It's there. It is there. It is there. Yeah.
So, and then we went through and we had then just sort of time to chat again, and then on Saturday we went through. We did an early morning walk on the beach, and then we had breakfast, and we had 4 meditations throughout, 4 meditation sessions throughout Saturday.
How do people, if folk out there are wondering about this, I'd love to go to this.
Yes.
How do they get in touch with these people at Mallinbeg?
Yeah, the Patala Centre, Belfast, Meditate NI is...
Meditate NI.
NI is...
Okay, that's the way to do it.
Starting point. And the particular form of Buddhism that the Patala Centre Belfast practices, Buddhism in the modern world. So it's very much about just integrating mindful practices into your day, and just generally being more aware of yourself and people around, and spreading, as Madison said, peace and love. And
it's pretty all right, that, isn't it?
Sounds
because
pretty good to me.
I kind of say to people, be happy and bring happy.
Yeah. And if we're all happy, then the world's filled with happy people, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it?
All the problems.
Yeah. And it's a good way to spend the time before going into the skeletal stage that we talked about earlier.
We're all familiar with charity begins at home, but I'm a big believer in peace begins at home. And peace begins within yourself.
You have a nice take on life. Where do you go to school?
St. Paul's.
You told me this before.
Yes.
You were raised well.
Thank you.
What's the perfume? What's the natural oil today you've got?
Rose and geranium this morning again.
Rose and geranium.
They're my favourite everyday ones.
Yeah, rose and geranium. That sounds lovely. Yes. You're a wonderful person. Thank you so much indeed.
Lovely
you take care.
Talk with you this morning again.
Well, it's always good. It's always good. We're going to play you some music now.
What are we going to have now?
What would you like? What we can give you? Have you made a choice already? Will we go sort of keep our fingers crossed? Let him do it.
Potluck.
Go on. We go potluck with you.
Trust the life force energy. And
wow, we shall.
Get the right piece.